Hi Capricorn, welcome to your month ahead for May 2022 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Cappy, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I'm going to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and interactions with the world at large over the course of May 2022, you have the Nine of Swords. Okay, so look, I'm going to be really honest with you. You guys tend to be quite pragmatic and very much action orientated, even though you're an earth sign. Probably that cardinal energy in play. But I'm going to say that this could be a month where you feel slightly more on edge or a little bit more worried about things than you usually do, because it is the Nine of Swords after all, which is a card of anxiety. And so it feels to me like this is a time where maybe the action isn't necessarily so forthcoming, but you just feel a little bit more on edge and you can't put your finger on it. Certainly for the first half of the month, we know why, because we're in between eclipses at this point, right? So everybody in some way, shape or form is a little bit more, but you might be very much more in your head at this time. So you're thinking a lot deeper and maybe even a little bit darker than usual. So try to find a way to snap yourself out of that. For your communications and conversations, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So it's not all doom and gloom. You've got this here with the Wheel of Fortune. So I would say this looks like a lot of you are worried about some sort of travel plans that are up in the air. So for some of you, this may be that you are called upon by maybe a distant family member, somebody that lives in another country. This could be, at a distance from you in the country that you live in. This could be a time where maybe plans that you've made for travel or plans that you're hoping to make for travel, it's like they're a little bit more strenuous and tenuous. It's like maybe the it just might be a little bit more sort of intense than usual. Now with the Wheel of Fortune in your communications, this suggests that there was not only good news coming in, but this is opportunity that allows you to be in the right place at the right time. You bring that in with the Nine of Swords. For some of you, this could be deliberating over an opportunity that comes up for you. It might require a big change of some sort. So for some of you, you might be saying, wow, you know what, there's this new job that's come up that I really like, but it means jumping ship again. And I've only done that sort of recently in the last sort of 15, 16 months. It's really unusual for a Capricorn to jump from job to job to job. It's like the strangest thing ever. But the work sector has been quite sort of up in the air for you guys over the last, I'd say probably 2 years. So it's interesting to see how this is playing out. For your heart and hearth sector, you've got the Four of Swords. So for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, you and your partner, you're on really good terms right now. Things are finally getting to that even keel for those of you that have been through challenges or issues with the partner. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with the partner themselves. This could be with their in-laws. It could be with, maybe they've had something going on in their work. Maybe it's all of the above. Whatever the challenges and or the intensities that have come up around this stuff for a partner and so therefore affected the relationship, it's like now you see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a time where new things are coming in for you, where you're really starting to understand that baseline, that even keel that you found within the relationship, when it is there, it's so important to be present for it and just enjoy it. For those of you that are single and looking, the Four of Swords suggests that the love life is going to be slow this month. Coupled with the Wheel of Fortune though, it's all about the quality over the quantity. So there may only be one, possibly two options this month, but they will both be viable. So yeah, nice. And then for your money and materials, you've got the Magician card. Okay, all right, we like it. So money, materials, finances are looking good this month. I like the Magician card for finances because it always suggests that you have the ability to create more. You guys are very good with money as it is, but this month you could be even better. This could also be where some personal idea or maybe an opportunity that has arisen for you, and maybe that's what the worry is. Like, it's like you can see how great something would be, but until it's kind of launched successfully or you can hold it in your hands, it's like you wait with bated breath. Worrying at things never did any good. All right, so like, you know, obviously be pragmatic, as you obviously are, but worrying about it is not going to do anything besides stress you out, so you can let that go. Your first week of the month, you have the High Priestess card. This tells me that whatever it is that's stressing you out, maybe not even you are able to put your finger on what it is, which tells me that this month your intuition is likely to be very high, and especially around this first week of the month. You may just have that feeling, it's like, I don't know what, but I know something is not right. And it sounds like really melodramatic when you say it like that. I mean, I've had moments like this. I'm just trying to think of a time where my mind got the better of my intuition. So in the early days, very much so, I would have like these really intense intuitive feeling that something big was about to happen. And, you know, most times it was actually something good, but because I was untrained and I wasn't really, you know, in that realm for that long at that point, it's like every time my intuition, because mine's really sensitive, and that's not to say like, ooh, look at me, but every time, you know, whether it was something good or bad, it would just be like this massive flare up of intensity, and I'd be like, something's wrong somewhere, I don't know what it is. And then when it would happen, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's what I was sensing. Oh, cool, everything's good. This could be one of those times. We are heading towards an eclipse, so I don't want to sort of, you know, err too much on the side of love, light, peace and prosperity, especially if you're going to get a little bit more than that. For your second week of the month, wow, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, so you've got a double hit of this energy. This is very potent. There are 78 deck cards in a full deck, and there are 22 cards in the Minor Arcana. The possibility of picking two cards that are supposed to go right underneath each other out of those it's quite slim to none, which suggests that there is going to be a mega synchronicity for you this month. There are some sort of, and this is a luck or a bit of a breakthrough in something that you've been dealing with that might have been a challenge or an issue up until now. Maybe it's something that you didn't know how to deal with, or maybe you've had a situation going on in the background that has had you kind of at a loss as to what am I going to do with this? How can I move forward with this? This is kind of like a break in the case energy. It's where that moment, something just pops up and you're like, wow, this is exactly what I needed in order for this thing to move forward. I like it. I like it a lot. I think for a lot of you, this could bode very well for the professional sphere, but it could just as easily be some spontaneous break in a challenge that comes up for you. So you've got the Lover's card underneath the Four of Swords. I maintain what I say. I think the love life for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments is very good this month. It's just settled. It's easy. It's chilled. There's no hassle. There's no issues. And it's like, okay, this is what the baseline feels like, all right? This is something that I got into around 3 years ago now. Or was it? No, it's about 4 years ago now. So when things get to a place where they're good in any sector of your life, say to yourself or set an intention. You can do a ritual or whatever, use the moon if it's in a good space and a good energy at that point, and set that experience that you're having right now as your new baseline. All right, so you know what, things are really good in my partnership, my relationship, we're communicating well, the loving time is good, you know, everything is ticking over as it should. From now on, I set the intention that this is the baseline of my relationship, so that if it hits a peak point and it's all over the place, you're like, okay, cool, we need to bring it back down. If it hits a low point and you're like, okay, you can bring it up, so that you know what your baseline is from now on. For those of you that are single, the options that come in this month, especially those handsome or beautiful strangers that are from different distant places, and or for some of you, different educational backgrounds as well. You know, your learning could be very, very different. So as an example, you know, because of what I do, hardcore academics tend to kind of steer clear of me, but just recently I've started speaking to someone who carries that vibration, and for now it seems like it's going well, but we'll see. Sorry, that was a complete overshare. Anyway, for your 4th week of the month, you've got the Sun card, and this is right underneath the Magician. Your finances are on fire this month. Money looks very good. It's in a good space. You're making good decisions when it comes to your investments, but more importantly, the long-term plans that you have set in place for your finances, you're going to see some sort of reward from this month already, which I really like for you. So the eclipse that takes place on the 16th is a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. For you, this is happening in your 11th house of groups, friendships, social media, the way that you connect to the wider whole, the way that you connect to the groups that you're a part of, your presence on social media, but it's also the space of your benefactors. People that can help you or assist you in some way, shape or form are found here. However, this also being the house of friendship, you've got a lunar eclipse in that space. A lunar eclipse is a grand completion point on a massive scale. And so this could be the end of a friendship. It could be the release of a group tie and or association. It could also be that you see a group and how it is viewed, and then you decide, wow, okay, you know what? I don't know that I want to be a part of that in terms of the association and what it might say about me. For this, you have the Gate 5 and Patience. If you are going through something with a friend or an acquaintance or even a colleague, especially if this is like a one-on-one thing, like something that you're having with someone in the group, give them their chance to explain. That Patience card is basically and for those of you where friendships and or group associations are going away, maybe you finish a project, maybe you come to the end of a course that you've been studying, etc. Don't worry, because the message behind the frog on the lily is that there will always be another meal that comes. That's why the frog is able to be patient, because it knows any minute now, you know, another something is going to come. I don't need to stress it. I don't need to freak out. New groups, new associations will come once these old ones have been let go of, and it's the same with friendships. So the new moon on the 30th of May in the sign of Gemini is happening for you in your 3rd house. Sorry, I had to really think about that one for a moment. Is it? No, I'm completely turned around. 1 second. Your 6th house. Gosh, I'm so sorry. So the fact that this is happening for you in your 6th house, this is all to do with your day-to-day routines, like how you present on a day-to-day basis, the work and the chores that you have to do on that day-to-day basis. But it's also your what do you call it? It's also, let's have a look. I'm completely mixed up. No, it's your 6th house. It's definitely your 6th house. Just wanted to check so I wasn't going off half-cocked on one. Oh my gosh. All right, so 6th house, this is also to do with your physical health, body and maintenance, especially because this is in Gemini for you. For those of you that are ascendant Capricorns to a lesser degree, but still relevant, the sun and the moon, because that 6th house is taking place in the Gemini house, which has a lot to do with your lungs. I urge you this month to look after your cardiovascular system, all right? And especially like your upper airways, so like your lungs, your, you know, all of your throatal area, your nose, like just really look after that whole general area this month. You got a new moon there. And this is the gate 60 and limit. So for some of you, this is also going to highlight to you where you are at the limit of your skills and where you need to enhance those skills. It will also see you really looking at what you have to do the job that you have, like what you have available to do the job that you need to do. So all in all, not a bad month. The other thing with this card as well, finally, it's about learning to work with what you have. So using what you've got in order to meet the task ahead. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care of yourself and I'll see you soon.